All right, question number 2. We're still looking at fractions, decimals, and percents. Question number 2 is asking about the thirds. 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3. So that's like if I take a cake, let me write those down. I've got 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3. So the fraction, I have one whole cake. Here's my cake. This time, instead of being cut up into 2 pieces, my cake is cut up into 3 equal pieces. The denominator is 3. And so I'm going to cut my cake into 3 equal pieces. There we go. All right, now on 1 out of 3, I only get to eat 1 slice of cake. One of those 3 slices I get to eat. So 1/3. Here's what 1/3 looks like in a model. Here's what 1 out of 3 looks like as a fraction. So now we've got to look at the decimal. Now that's a little tricky. Thirds are a little hard to memorize. Now remember what we said that the fraction bar means in math? If we have the fraction bar, 1 and the fraction bar and 3, 1/3. What does this fraction bar mean? We're going to say it over and over and over again this year. That fraction bar means to divide. I know somebody said it. Okay, so that means to divide. So this is 1 divided by 3. 1 divided by 3. We're going to use division to find the decimal. 1 divided by 3. I'm going to come down here. Okay, imagine this 1/3 like gets pushed over. Somebody push the 1/3, push the 1/3. If we push it over, that 1's going to fall into the box. All right, so this is going to be 1 divided by 3. Now, you might think, you can't divide 1 divided by 3, and you can't without decimals. But that's what we're looking for is decimals, so we're going to do it. All right, so 1 will not go into 3, so we're going to add a decimal and a 0. We've talked about that a lot lately. But let's push that decimal up. Okay. How many times will 3 go into 10? How many times will 3 go into 10? It'll go 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. And then we're going to subtract. 10 minus 9 is 1. Uh-oh, we got another 1. We're going to add another decimal. Add another 0. We're going to add another 0. We get another 10. 3 will go into this 10 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract and we get a 1. Okay, so right now you might be thinking, hey, that just keeps repeating and repeating. And you're right, it does. It's a repeating decimal. So here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to stop. We're going to do 2 decimal places. And then we're going to take that remainder. And I haven't really talked about this in class much. But we're going to start at the top. And we're going to read it like a clock. Then we're going to go around clockwise. And our answer is going to be, okay, I'm going to write it up here. Decimal 33 and 1/3. It's like a decimal and a fraction all in one, okay? 33 and 1/3. Or you might, this would also be like a repeating decimal that keeps going and going and going. So you could also write it with a fraction bar on top, but we can't do a fraction bar in Edge Elastic. It's just not one of the tools that we have. So we're going to write our answer this way. So we're going to put 0, let me put the 0 in front, 0 decimal, 33 and 1/3. Now the percent's easy from this point. If we've got the decimal, we can multiply the decimal number times 100 to get the percent number. So we can multiply this number times 100, and that's just like moving the decimal over 2 places. So it's going to be 33 and 1/3%. And don't forget that percent sign. Now, let's look at the next one. Let's look at 2/3. 2/3. 2/3 is 2 pieces of cake. If I had my cake and it was cut into 3 equal pieces, this means I get 2 pieces of cake. 2 pieces of cake. So I get this 1/3 and I get this 1/3. So if that's true, then I could just take the answer for 1/3 and I could double it and get 2/3. So here's a thought. Okay, if 1/3 is equal to 0.33 and 1/3, then 2/3 would be 1/3 plus 1/3. Or, okay, I could say this answer, 33 1/3 plus 0.33 1/3. And what would that be equal to? That would be 0.66, and 1/3 and 1/3 is 2/3. All right, so my decimal number is just really going to be this doubled. Double 33 is 66, double 1/3 to 2/3. That was crazy right there. Okay, now the percent. Percent is if I take this number and multiply it by 100, because 100 means percent means out of 100. And so that would be 66 and 2/3%. Don't forget your percent sign. Now, 3/3. 3/3 is a whole cake. Okay? That is the whole cake. All 3 slices. I get to eat the whole thing. So I get to eat 1 whole cake. 3 out of 3 means 1 whole. And I might need to erase this. Hang on a second. Kind of got in my way there. And 1 whole out of 100 means 100%. You get all of it. So that's 100%. I'll see you on the 4ths.